My morning starts basically in the garden with a coffee, with the dogs. When I come home, I want maybe not to talk to somebody, so I wanted a house which is thinking for itself.
When we were passing through this quiet neighbourhood along Old Klang Road, we were captivated by this intriguing green facade corner house. Just when we decided to turn around to get a closer look, the gates opened, and there he was, Sebastian. The owner was right about to bring his fine-looking dogs for a walk. Want to know how it looks inside? Let us show you how this property turned from this to this. Before we begin, click on the subscribe button and turn that notification buzzer on and support us in crafting more exciting and compelling design episodes of such. Hello everyone, my name is Alex Lee and I am from Design Seeds. Today's episode on Design Seed, we will be sharing the story behind this 40 years old property that was transformed from a single-story corner house that looked like this. And with an effectual touch of design and architecture, the outcome turned out like this. Somehow, I wasn't caught by surprise when the owner mentioned the name Oscar. Oscar Tan, the founder of OTCQ Architects, is the architect who designed this home, and it is familiar to see his iconic design elements which purpose across the interior and exterior of the Awan Kuning.
Hi, my name is Oscar Tan, the co-founder of OTCQ Architects and also the architect of this house. I love how they named this street as Awan Kuning. It somehow gives me a little bit of an image of how to create this building to be a bit more bright, a bit more sunny. Original buildings, the whole front is a carport. That's why internally it's very dark. And this entire facade is all block walls without openings. And we just feel like if you don't bring light and don't bring air, this house is meaningless.
The outside style of the house was unique. Inside was quite dark, very less windows inside, but there was a potential in this house. And so then I decided to go ahead. I don't want to have a plaster ceiling inside. When we removed the ceiling, we found steel structure. When we decided we keep it, we just make them clean, we just paint them. And I think the result is, or the outcome is quite good. You directly can look on the tiles and bring light inside them. You can see also the fence. This brings a lot of airflow inside so that we don't need any aircon running during the day. I wanted to have a French balcony. Then he developed out of this French balcony this sun shield to bring more green to the garden, to the house, and also protection against the sun with the plants.
This house is really about light and ventilation. We need to create openings for air to flow through a building instead of just building blocks. That's why you are seeing these balconies is actually permeable. Perforations and also a little bit of greens come to play to this facade. It shouldn't be something that's too harsh and too hard. So now it feels like internal is bright, but it's not too hot. There's a lot of contractors around in the market. Some of the contractors just want to get the jobs done. But I always work with the contractors that are willing to go extra miles to get the jobs well done.
Hi, I'm CY. I'm the project manager from PJC Construction, established by Mr. Evin Pang. We are specialists in doing clay bricks works, the raw material, and also the strengthening of the structure. Actually, this project is quite challenging for us, like the ramp-off design for the island. Actually, after we get the design, we did a lot of research. Since it's at an island countertop, we have to do like more water resistant, so we have to try our own formula. We're doing layer by layer. After that, casting the concrete top, polish it, and then only we do all the edging, and then we paint it with the PU coating. I think like nowadays, there got a lot of ready-made product in the market. So like this kind of job, I think is quite special because they got their own identity. Like every time you look at it, it's different. It's not a very constant design. what we did is kind of art piece for us.
If you are putting a living trees there, you need lights to come in. So instead of create big giant openings there, we'll make use of an existing roof tiles, but just changing certain tiles to create that animation of lights into the space.
A centerpiece, yeah. You have to find the right tree. The soil it's a soil, the ground, so under this comes nothing anymore. So the main idea was to remove the barrier between outside and inside. If you open the windows, the flooring inside continues to outside, to the nature, to the plants.
You see, if you have such a big space, texture is very important to create that sense of warmth. So instead of putting a wall as a boundary, we do a little bit of raise in platforms to create that boundary. This is dry kitchens and there's living. And when we talk about dry kitchens, then we just want to extend this space to external. That's why the whole space is of one single floor finishes all the way to a boundary to a garden to open up the space.
As we're speaking, we hear this constant flow of running waters.
The mini fountain is there. Actually, there's a water retaining feature down there, so the water just circles and cycles.
Yeah, the idea of the fountain was actually to have a certain noise in the background. So I don't want to have an artificial fish pond. So I wanted to have something what fits inside the garden, which is maybe also natural just there. So this was the idea behind this water feature.
You see, doing renovations for old houses, they always require a lot of alterations to the structures. So of course, our principle is always trying to minimize alterations. But this beam just get in the way. Eventually, you just feel like the space will be better without this beam.
Yep.
Hence, we add on these columns.
One feature which is not so obvious is actually the staircase. If you are in front, it looks really elegant. It's wide, it's really nice to walk up and down. I wanted to have an open concept bedroom. The idea behind this open concept is I want to utilize the space, get a better airflow inside the house.
Interesting division of the space of the shower area in the master room. An organic form that divides the spaces gracefully, creating a piece of art.
The most challenging part is the curvature shower area because it's not a very big curve, it's a very small curve. And also it's not only like curvature only. The curvature wall is like from low, there's a gradient. So during our casting, we have to plan how to cover it.
So we know that there's always layers of hierarchy of privacy in bathroom. Bathtub doesn't mean that it has to be something that you hide it with. That's why we're opening out the rooms. The second privacy that we're talking about is the showers. When shower, it comes to a place that head down, there's the areas of privacy. And of course then it comes to WCs, tucked to the back and keep it to the personal compartments. In the ways that we're doing balconies, we tend to allow airflow. It allows water to gush through, lights to penetrate through, providing a servicing platforms. At least you can still clean your glass and turn into a green roof as well, green balcony.
So I think if you came inside the house, you missed maybe one thing what you find in every Malaysian house. If you walk in on the door, switch, switch, switch. This you will not find here. There are only a few switches available. The idea behind it is I don't want to come home and talk to Siri or talk to Alexa or whatever. When I come home, I want maybe not to talk to somebody. So I wanted a house which is thinking for itself. So if there's light required, then the light will go on. If there's the curtains or aircon required, then the house is doing this by himself.
The Logs-On Smart Home system from Grape's Smart Tech solution brings every corner of this home to life, as light presence sensors and smart switches work together in perfect harmony. Smart presence sensors that ensure lights are on only when needed, creating an energy-efficient environment without lifting a finger.
It's about understanding your sites. So about the sun path, and our wind directions. We know that tropics is blessed with all this rain, sun, and another treasure of a tropics climate is really about landscapes. Actually, landscape is a big part of a tropic house. It cools down your house. So that's how we always design to weave our landscape into the buildings. We can't do without any of the elements.
Yet another inspiring episode of an amazingly crafted project by Oscar. I remember when I first stepped into his property, the concrete house, I asked myself, is this a house within another house? If you have not watched that episode yet, click on that link to explore amazing philosophies behind the house that was mythically called the church. My name is Alex Lee and I am from Design Seeds. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like and share this video and help us grow the channel. This will allow us to constantly gather and curate more and more compelling design episodes. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week.